Hello and welcome to this short video on how to play the song St Elmo's Fire by John Parr. So, the song is a fairly easy song to learn. Once you've learned the first part of the song, the second part is pretty much the same. In terms of the song itself, the left hand is going to play the piano and also the brass section. Then the right hand is going to play the trombone. Okay, the trombone works really well for the vocals and some of the fill-ins. The acoustic grand piano is used on the start of the song, and then the brass section is used on some of the other fill-ins during the song, which you will see. But make of it what you want. The tempo is 110, so let's get into this. So here are some of the notes that you might want to play with the left hand. I'll just go through them. The first one is the start of the song, the very first note and combination in the song, which is that. Then you've got that, and then you've also got that, and then you repeat that again. And then the second time round, you hold the two notes there instead, so you end up with basically a little rhythm, and they're held down for the whole bar, so you hold them down for the whole beat. Just like that, and you just tinker with it basically. And that's basically it. You would just play that all the way through. So I just thought I would talk a little bit about the setup of the song. When you first play the song, you're going to start with the acoustic grand piano for the first part. There's a lot of overlaps in instruments at that point, so it may not sound like you play that, but you do. And then after that, you need to have your two tones ready. So for the vocals and some of the fill-ins, you're going to use a trombone. And then if you have a split function on your keyboard, I would strongly recommend you use that. And you would type in the tone for the brass section, which is there. And then you've got both of them accessible. So you're going to have your trombone here, and then your brass section down there. And so you've got access to both of them. And that's going to be key for this song. So once we've got our instruments ready, we'll go into the first verse. So we've covered the intro. The first verse and the second verse are pretty similar. Once you've done the first verse, you should be able to work the second verse out, apart from the fill-ins. So we'll start with the first verse. That's the first part done. So we do the second part of the first verse now. That's the second part. So the next part, imagine the start of the first verse. And then we get the first fill-in. Then it continues on. Then there's another fill-in. And then we get to the last part of the first verse. Then it changes. Okay, and then that's it. So the last bit is a bit like a pre-chorus, I guess. So now we'll get onto the chorus. Chorus is the same throughout. It does change a little bit at the end of the song because they start singing slightly different things, but we'll cover the outro when we get to it. So the chorus goes a bit like this. And that's it after the first verse. Okay. Some people do add this in at the end of the chorus. Now on the song that actually only comes in after the second chorus, but you can add it in on the first one if you like the sound of it. I sometimes do because I think it sounds good in the song, and to be honest it's one of the iconic little notes that are in the song. And there we go, and then the second chorus starts after that. Okay, so this is a point where some of the fill-ins do come in, and it's on the second verse. And there's a backing vocal in this as well, which I'll explain when I get to the various point of it. And so the start just plays the same as the first verse, and then kind of your pre-chorus kicks in after that with the fill-in in between. So it goes something like this. And then the back. And then again. That's a fill-in, and then back again. And that is it. So you notice when I played that, after I did the start of the second verse, the backing vocal kicked in, and then later on we had that little fill-in bit. I press the split button on my keyboard to change the tone quite easy to save you typing the number in. Just like that. Okay, it just sounds like that, and there we go. So we get a little bit of a kind of a bridge or a little bit of a fill-in in the song, and it goes like this. So the first bit plays twice. And then the next bit we go down an octave and we go. And that's it. Okay, so it is a little bit tricky that because you're starting off up here on this an octave higher and then you go down one, but that's basically the way it works. I'll just play that again. So this first bit twice, and then it's down an octave, and then a bit of a fill in. Fill in again. and that's it. Right then, so we're now getting up to the final part of the song, which is basically the chorus again. And this chorus plays 3 or 4 times, and then after that, what happens is John Parr starts singing loads of different things as the outro kicks in when the fade comes on. It's not always easy to capture the notes on this because some of it is really faint as he's trying to sing, so it can be difficult. But what I would say is, make of it what you want. The bits you can hear, put in. The bits you can't really hear, then just try and make it up as you go along. But basically, it's a little bit like this. That kind of thing. And then that's basically the end of the song. So here is the song all the way through with all of the different instruments on the different tracks.